that touches an intimate part of your soul that I think Jesus put there just for him. And every time we evangelize, when we touch that part, he gives us a little bit of a piece of that. And like I said, you know, I started out, every church I went to, I went gothed out. And I went to a Baptist church gothed out. And it just so happened that the very first time I went to this Baptist church, they had canceled services to have a board meeting. So here I was, this gothed out little chick, metal chains and spikes and everything, and I walk into a Baptist board meeting. It was horrible. But I had this old guy. He sat on the opposite side of the room as me, and he gave me a dirty look throughout the whole time. And I knew I didn't belong there. You know, I knew that he didn't want me there. He might have said he did, and they might have gone for the whole evangelism thing, but he didn't want me there. And once people knew that he didn't want me there, they didn't want me there either. And people know when you don't want them there. And you can try to deny it and say, well, you know, we just don't think that they should be dressing that way or behaving that way. But the truth is, you just don't think that they belong there. And I was not open to the gospel at all at that church. You know? So, that was that. But what I did appreciate was when I came to the vineyard, people weren't put off by my appearance. I walked in the first time, and this guy I had never even met. I walk in the door, and he just put his arms around me and hugged me, and well, hi, how are you? Welcome, you know. And I had been in a situation where I hadn't been hugged in over a year. And for him to do that the very first time he saw me, just immediately, that was just his response. That, I will never forget that. Because he wanted me there. He really wanted me there. And it wasn't just a show. And that really, I'll tell you what, nothing will weaken a person's defenses than someone just loving on them. Because I was all on guard, you know. And I just melted. And I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? You know? This guy's hugging on me, I don't even know his name. And I'm kind of a wuss now. But sometimes it's okay to be a wuss. And it really helped that people could be, I appreciate people who are upfront and honest. You know, a lot of times people will sit there and they'll try to sweet talk you. You know, or whatever, but there's a way that you have to be when you're approaching a non-Christian in the place that I was at, where you just need to be upfront and honest in a loving way. And I don't know why, but a lot of Christians just seem to have a problem with the loving part. Oh yeah, you can be upfront and honest. I can be upfront and honest. But I'll just be honest, I'm I'm not sometimes the most tactful person in my openness and honesty. But people are either coming off as harsh and uncaring, or like they're just blowing smoke up your butt, you know? If you can find a medium between those two things and just be honest and put it out there. I mean, if you want me to put myself out there, you better bet that you're going to put yourself out there. Because you cannot expect me to do something without you doing it. You know, and I think that's the way most pre-believers are. One of the biggest complaints about Christianity is the hypocrisy. So, don't pull any punches. Just be real. Be you. And, don't give up on people. Don't ever give up on anybody. I know a real popular thing is, you know, well, I just don't know what to do with this person anymore. You know, I've tried everything I can think of, and I'll just have to turn him over to Jesus. And somehow we've equated turning people over to Jesus with abandonment. And I had been abandoned so many times. I'd been, you know, I was just abandoned. I was an orphan. And that's what pre-Christians are, is they're just orphaned from God. And that's the longing in their soul that they feel, the searching, is to just belong somewhere. And, you know, people would try for so long. And if I didn't change fast enough, my behavior, if I didn't conform to their way of thinking fast enough, they tended to, you know, not pay so much attention and not love on me as much. Subtly, very subtly and very slowly, the relationship would become more and more distant between me and the people who are trying to reach me and evangelize to me. Because evangelism is such a long process. Sometimes you can do the pop evangelism where you can just walk in and go reach somebody on the street, but true evangelism, I think, is just a process. You got to build relationship to evangelize. You have to go to that person, you have to be with that person, you have to know where that person is. And every relationship is an evangelism. And after so long, people just ran out and left me. And I would be in a certain state where I was wanting to believe, and I was ready to believe, and I was waiting for that evidence, you know, that yes, God really wanted me, and yes, you were going to be there for me, only to find myself sitting there alone again. And when it was all said and done, I realized that I was just another project. And that's what it felt like. I didn't do good enough. You know? Because of course the problem is always with the one you're trying to evangelize, right? That's always the situation. But I appreciated the people who didn't give up on me. It was hell for them. It was hell for me. And I don't know what God has in store, whatever why I had to be such a hard case. I guess that's the redhead, but I know that it was worth it for me. And I hope it was worth it for them. They might disagree, but that really affected me, that people stuck with me. And they didn't give up on me. That made me think that maybe, just maybe, I really was worth keeping. I didn't expect to live past 20. And, you know, now I'm 24. So don't give up on people. Jesus doesn't.